So we saw in a very quick way that there is a simple or complex way to filter information into the table. Right. So now if we go back to control this table, a few things I wanted to show you. So there is some tools here to make some filter, especially this one, for example. If you click here, maybe it will be simpler if I go, for example, on department layer. So you can select some objects. So you can click. Sorry. So you have to select the layer department, and then you can click on the objects like this. So you will select them. So just to show you, if you open the table at the same time, you should see that some lines are selected at the same time. So the link is still the same between the table and the map. All right. You can also draw a rectangle. If you press the left finger of your mouse, you can select everything that intersects this rectangle. Right? So everything that intersects the rectangle will be selected. You can also use the control keyboard to select various objects in the map. Right? It's working.
It's not working.
If you want to unselect everything, you can click on an empty zone like this, but you can also use this icon here to unselect everything. So here we use the rectangle to make the selection, but you can also, so if you click here on this small black arrow, you can choose so to select with polygon, but by freehand, for example, if you want to draw like this. In some cases, it can be useful, or also with the radius. Right? Okay. Then one thing that can be interesting for you is that here you have a tool to make some measurement. So if you click here, you will have this new panel, and then you will be able to click first point, second point. So you can see you have the coordinates, you have the distances, and once you finish, you have to make a rating, and you have the distance.
But it's like the real distance
Yes,
in the
yes, it's a it's a good question. Here you can see that you have ellipsoidal or Cartesian. So here by default ellipsoidal, it means that this is the distance like this. But yeah, I agree with you. In our case, you should prefer Cartesian. This way you are in 2 dimensions, you are in the plan, and it's more accurate. So Cartesian. And you have the same for to measure an area. So this is the same idea. You can draw a shape like this, polygon, and then you have the area of this polygon. You can change the unit. So maybe I'm going too fast. I just click here and I selected measure area. Is it working?
Yes.
Yes. You can also measure bearing, but for me, it doesn't make sense. And you can also measure angles like this. In my opinion, it's not so useful, but sometimes. Yes.
Did you select
era ahí el
did you select the departments just on the
So you have to click here Yeah, this one, and then you have to select first your layer here. Yeah, and then do again. No, no, yeah, don't use Saga. Saga it's an application to process raster imagery. So there was a question. No?
I want to just ask you a question, to be honest. When you say like minority are around the conversation of the I was saying quiet means like devices. And I think like I was like go to
Yes.
like for me, you know, I felt like that's quiet. I was just like lifting away. Like when you start to lift it,
All right. So it was
very fast.
tools to make some measurements. So of course you can see that there is a lot of options, but here I'm just focusing on the main one that you may use after. Okay, so now maybe it's time to load the other data set I gave you before. So I hope you finished to download everything. Yes. You have downloaded the other file. So if we go, for example, in SC1000, so scan mill information. So here we can see that we have different files, and in fact, some of them they are TIFF files. So these are images. So without being in QGIS, you should be able to open the image. So you have the image like this. Okay, so it's like a JPEG or PNG, but TIFF is more for big images that can be used in GIS application. Okay, so we have the scan 1000, and we also have the TFW, which is like the PLG file for the shape files. So here you can see when you open the TFW, you have the information about the resolution and also the position of the starting points of the image. So the GIS application will use this information to place the image in the appropriate place on the map, right? So it means that if you remove or if you don't have this TFW file, the application will not be able to place the image on the appropriate place, right? TFW. The rest, we don't care. It's optional file that we don't need. Okay, so we will go back to QGIS and we will click here on the Open Data Source Manager or Control L. And instead of choosing vector information, we will choose raster. Right? So here it's the same. We will point the file. In fact, we want to open. So you have to go where in the order where you thought your zip file. So SC1000, and here again we can see all the file. So we can filter. So here we should be able to filter. Where is it? I'm searching file.
Where?
It should be GeoTIFF, I think. Yeah. So if you can search to GeoTIFF, I think it should work. And so we have 5 files that you are invited to open. Yes. So I just choose GeoTIFF. Do you have GeoTIFF in the list? You have to scroll.
It's
TIFF is like an extension of TIFF. TIFF is like I said, it's PNG, JPEG. It's a way to talk image, and Geo is the extension that allows to open in Google Maps. Right?
Professor,
So once done, you can
which option file we have to open this time?
and add it.
Okay, first we have to go to
So you should
okay,
have something like
from
this.
here or just go to
So
master.
of course you have to zoom in to see something.
Which one we have to?
And then if you zoom in,
This one?
you
Yes.
will see the pixels. Okay, because the resolution of this image is not so
Okay,
good.
first I have to unzip
Not
it
made
also.
to zoom in. You just see the situation on a global level. So is it working for everybody?
Professor, we
So
are
you can see that we have different types. So if you can select, you can see, so it's clear divided into four, and we also have costs. So we are starting to have many different layers in the layer manager. So there is a way to organize your data is just to create folders. So here in the layer part, you can make a right click and you can click on.
okay. So which one is it? This?
So
This
we
one?
will name this, for example, from scan 1000. Right? And then I will just select and drag and drop my raster images into this group.
Geotiff?
Like this. So I just drag and drop the five raster images into this group. Okay, so this way they are in the group scan 1000, and I'm able to make it visible in just one click instead of clicking on the five different layers. Is it working? How?
No,
So
Professor, we
first you have to create a group. So you have to click on the empty box, make a right click, and add a group. Yes. There is no empty space. So maybe you can yes. So even if you click here. Okay. Or maybe you can.
what?
Yeah.
By clicking. Yeah, just in the empty space.
Okay.
Right click.
You also have this icon.
Hello,
In fact, if you don't have enough space, you have this icon. Add group. Okay, so you have the choice between right click in the empty part, or you can click here, add group. So once you have your group, you can drag and drop the layer into the group. Okay, so it's a good way to organize your different data, because sometimes you have, let's say, 100 layers, and you have to find a way to organize them on your project, right? So here we have the scan 1000, so it's not so accurate. Okay, so now we will open the scan 25. Scan 25. So once again, here we will go in the raster. So Control A to open the data source manager. And I will point, so scan 25. Last one here. So here we can see that there is nothing because we are still selected with geotype. If I just to show you, so here instead of TIFF file we have GP2. So GP2 file. In fact, it's no. It's in scan 25. The last one. Yes. Yeah. So we have GP2. Maybe I can open it.
Just see.
Okay, so it has to be open to the TS application page. So it's in fact it's a JPEG. They used to call it JPEG 2000. It's a file format to compress images. So it has to be open into the GIS. So we will choose in the list. I'm just searching. Yeah, should be this one, JPEG the Mir. I think so. Yeah. So you should have JPEG 2000 driver press on the term. Hello? I'm not sure, but you can try that.
Professor, is it in the same folder, the scan 1000, or it's the other folder?
Sorry?
Which folder contains
It's
this?
in the scan 25.
Okay, scan 20.
I don't have this 2000.
You don't have this?
Yeah.
Okay, so it seems that and if you click on all files on the top, they appear. They appear. Okay, so you can try to select them. Yes.
The one with the video.
Yeah. Only GP2. And then open. Add. Okay, so now we don't see anything because in fact we have zooming. The image is here in the node area. So if I just unselect scan 1000, so we can see that they are here. So clearly we can see the difference. So you are invited to create a new group and to put all these layers into the group scan 25. So you just drag and drop these different layers into scan 25, right? And just to show you the difference of resolution, we have here the scan 1000. So we are here in the city of Nantes, and if you display scan 25, the resolution is totally different, right? So now you have to find EMT. Yes, there is EMT. Yeah, you have to find EMT on the scan 25.
I should find these.
If you know where
No, we are lost. Please help me to find the file. So where it is?
where is EMT?
It's scan 25.3, right? And which file it is?
All files.
So file and then
And you select the ones with JP2.
see?
Select the ones with JP2 at the end.
Follow the air lever, and you are after this. No, we are after this road.
Okay.
Here going to Paris. Yeah. And then going here. Okay for everybody? And you have to find the airport of Nantes. Where is the airport of Nantes? Do you know where is the airport of So it's in the southwest. Southwest. Yeah. So we can see here the airport. So we live in the south, in Rosé. You have Rosé, here, and we have, and just to show you, we have the airport, and my university where I come from is here. This part, and it's quite huge because we have everything here, and we have a track here for cars to test different things, and also the roads, the pavement, and things like this. We have 150 hectares. So it's quite huge. Okay. So scan 25, right? Now we will open BD Ortho. So if we go back here, we have BD Ortho 5 meter. And we have P5. So you can select geography. Ah, okay. So good question. If you change your so you can load the BD Auto. You know how to do it right now.
It's also a raster?
Yeah. Yes. Yes. And we will have 5 meter resolution. So press add, then you can create a new group. Sorry. So BD Auto. Yes. And then you can zoom in, you can do something like this. So now you should find
What is the extension point?
the Excel. It's TIL. You have to find the Jardin des Plantes. You know Jardin des Plantes? It's the botanic garden, the city center of Nantes. If you don't know this garden, you have to go. It's very nice. Exactement. You have to find the botanic garden. So here you have the city center, just in front of the rail station on the north entry of the rail station. So in fact, it's here. You have the rail station here. So I'm here. You have the island of Nantes. Then here you have the rail station. And just in front you have the botanic garden here. Right? So it's 5 meter. It's not so good, but and just to show you, just at the beginning of this course, before you arrive, I discovered that there is a web platform where you can access to spot images. So this is satellite French imagery, very up to date, with very good accuracy. This one is 1.5 meter resolution. So I downloaded it. So it's open, so you can download it, but it's 3 gigabytes. So I downloaded it just to show you. I don't ask you to download it. So it was here. I will just open it to show you just where it is. It should be this one. The file is a bit bigger. So here we can see. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, the image is quite big. You can see, but it's 3 gigabytes. And here, in this case, it's the resolution is 1.5 meter, right? So if I go back, for example, to the city center and the rail station, okay. So if you compare to this, it really depends. In fact, they are using everything they find. In fact, so it really depends on the place and they are scanning, touching many different images and assembling everything. And that's why sometimes you can see there is some lines, and for example, there is clothes, and here there is no clothes. Yeah. For example, so because in fact they are pushing the best they find, and also if they are up to date or no, they take what they have. So it really depends. But the accuracy is maybe around 1 or between 1 and 5 meters. So it's not so bad. It looks very clear. Right? So it was just to show you how we can open raster images. Okay, now we can go back to vector information. And for example, for departments. So we say that there is ways to manage the symbology, the way we color, in fact, the layer. So if we go back to property on the department layer, we have, so here we have symbology. Okay, so I went to the properties and make a right click. Or you can also, if you prefer, you can make a double click like this. So in the symbology, you have here single symbol. It means that in fact all the objects from the layer will have the same symbology. They will have the same color, the same border, and everything. So here you can in fact edit this symbol. If you click here, you have options for the fill color, the style. For example, you want to have some lines like this. You have the stroke color. So let's say I want to have something which is blue. I don't know. You can change the width, and you can see in real time what will be the results here. Right? So you have different ways to set your symbols. And once you're happy with that, you can okay. And you have this. So you can try to do something ugly if you want. Usually the students try to do something ugly. So you just have to go here, symbology. You have to edit the symbol, change the color, adapt to your needs. Right?
Ah oui, si, tu peux faire ça.
Okay. So this is the unique symbol. It means that everything has the same symbology. Now we will see that there is ways to make what we call thematic analysis. So this is usually I talk about this within the course dedicated to graphy, but we don't have time, so I will just show you how to make it here QGIS. So instead of seeing single symbol, we will use categorize. So in the list here, you just choose categorize. Yeah, maybe I should choose. Yeah, to be more clear for the example, we will instead of going on department layer, we will go on region. Sorry for that. No, sorry. Okay, no, it's okay. Go back to the department. Sorry. So categorize, and then here we have the list of the column that we will use to make the analysis. So here the idea with categorize is we will apply one symbol per object that has the same value for a specific column. Okay, for on a specific column, each object that have the same value, they will have the same color, for example. Okay, so it's a way to categorize the different objects. So here we have the departments. The department belongs to region. So if we choose to colorize each department that are in the same region, we should have something which is nice. So we will select INSEE reg. So this is the ID of the region. And you can choose the way you will set the color. So it can be random, or you can also use different color ramps that are pre-established. It's up to you. Let's say we use spectral, for example, I don't know. And then you will click on classify. So here, okay. So here I have something which is a bit not really clear because in fact it's based on the previous symbol we set it just before. So it will not be very clear. So I will just change this default symbol. Usually it's more easy, but since we made this modification before, it's a bit strange. Yeah. So it would say solid and let's say dots. Okay, so we have something like this.
Um,
So each department that are in the same region will have the same color, right?
can you please repeat this step again?
So from
This one, that how you selected the
so I
yeah.
just so you choose the column. So you choose INSEE reg,
Mhm.
then you just click on classify,
Okay. Okay.
and
Yeah.
you should see the different values,
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Got it.
right?
Yeah.
Then once it's okay, you just click on apply or okay name,
Yeah. Okay.
and you should have something like this. Not necessarily the same color, but each department that are in the same region have the same color.
Mm.
Ah, le remplissage, c'est en fait, il faut aller dans. En fait, quand tu es sur ton symbole, donc tu vas sur ici là, et là en fait, tu vas choisir le style, fill style, et tu vas mettre solide. C'est ça que tu le problème, non?
Ouais, oui, effectivement.
Mm. Yeah.
Dans le, en fait, il faut d'abord que tu édites ton symbole de base. Ensuite, du coup, tu vas prendre fill style, tu mets solide.
Comme t'en parlais.
Ah oui, bah, le remplissage, en gros, c'est la deuxième option. Donc, d'abord, c'est la couleur de remplissage. Ensuite, tu as le type de remplissage. Ensuite, tu as la couleur de la bordure. Et l'épaisseur de la bordure et le type de bordure.
Selected in it. I selected me.
C'est bon? Camarade, c'est bon, c'est quoi?
Okay, I have to change this. So,
Can't choose any color.
yeah, but this is the gradient. I don't want the gradient one.
Okay, it works?
I have a problem.
So it really depends on the. Yeah.
Professor, I have a problem. Wait a minute.
We can try with another column or.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Everything looks when I apply. It's like
Yeah, because
yeah.
very nice.
No, I don't want this.
Okay, because in fact your default this is the default symbol, which is already a bit strange. So we will remove this, for example, and we will have just
Okay.
yeah, like this. Maybe we can decrease the size. Okay,
Okay.
and here.
Okay. Now
Ah, t'as pas besoin de taper. You don't need to type. You just have to select here in the list in Sereg, and then that's it. Yeah. Oh, turbo. Classify. Perfect. Okay. Which is where is it? Ah, it's in the. Maybe you should resize. No, in the. Yeah, like this. And okay. Perfect. So, so categorize each object that have the same value for a specific column have the same symbology, right? Now, you can see here that we have only, in fact, text information because it is only able to categorize on text information. But what about numerical information? So here, for this table, we don't have numerical information. Just to remember, if you display the table, we only have, in fact, text information. Even if here we have numbers, but if you remember, to A to B for Corsica, so it's text information. So, but if we go to the table commune, so this one, so we have commune, and in the table commune, we have informations about the population. So just a small tip, when you see this table, you directly see what is text or what is numbers. In fact, you can see that text is aligned on the left, while numeric information is aligned on the right. Right? So here we are aligned on the right. So it means that it's numeric information. While here it's aligned on the left. So it means that it's text information. Right? So if we want to make an analysis on population, because it's numeric information, we will have a new option. So if you go to the property of commune, so symbology, and instead of single symbol, we will use graduated. Okay, so graduated here, you can see that in the list there is only one column. This is population. This is the only one which is numeric. Okay, so here, in fact, we will be able to make statistical classification, in fact, of the distribution. So to do so, we have different methods. So we have the equal count, so quantile, equal interval, fixed interval, logarithmic scale, natural average, and so on and so on. So depending on the one you will choose, of course, we will have different results. So this is a way to divide the distribution of the population. Okay, you understand? So we can try different methods. And for each of them, in fact, you can define also here the number of classes you want to have. Okay, so in the domain of cartography, we usually say that, for example, you have to avoid to have more than 7 classes. Sorry, 7 classes because your eye will not be able to distinguish if you have more than 7 colors. Okay, so if you can avoid to have more than 7, 5, for example, is quite enough. But you can change. It's up to you. So, for example, let's say I want 6 just to illustrate. So you just click and you have your value. So here he is applying the color ramp that has been used here selected by default. You can choose or prepare the color ramp, but you can also edit the one which is here. So to do so, you just have to click here and you can edit the color. So let's say I want to start from yellow, for example, instead of white. So you just click here and then you press like this. All right. And I want to go to, let's say, I don't know, purple. Right? So you can adapt like this. You can also add some points or some different colors and so on. Once it's okay, you should have this. And you can press OK. And in our case, in my case, we don't see so much things because in fact the statistical method that I used is not appropriate to my population distribution. We can see that we have Paris, but the rest in fact is in yellow. So my method is, my map is correct regarding my classification, but it's not, my method is not appropriate, right? So we can just change the method. So if you just go back, so double click or right click properties, you can just change the method. And I will reduce to 5 classes, for example, and press OK. And here we can see different things. So the question is here, what is the good method? It really depends on what you want to show, in fact. You have to keep in mind that maps are a way to communicate an information, but it's also a way to lie. So you have to be careful on who made the map and what he wants to communicate as an information. Sometimes you can be manipulated, in fact, and especially using the different methods, statistical methods, of course, you will see different results. Here we are talking about the population, but let's say we were talking about the number of crimes, of murder for people. Maybe you want to hide to reduce the number of lower the impact of negative things like murder people. So maybe the first method was the best because you don't see anything except for Paris, for example. But if you want to push something which is positive, maybe this one will be better because we have very high value everywhere, in fact. Okay. Why we are still talking about the same thing? In both cases, here we have population. But depending on the statistical method that we use, you will say different things, in fact. So be careful about that.
What did you change at the end? How did you get this?
Yeah, I just changed the method, which is here. So instead of having fixed interval, I choose equal equal point. But you can change, for example, try logarithmic scale. For example, yeah. Oh, I don't have anything here. I don't know why. It's invalid. Okay. Natural brains, Rex. Okay, so you can try different methods and different classes and just apply, and you will see the different way, the different maps you will have.
No, this area is always very everyone. Very corporate. Let's say.
Yes, it's a good question. So sometimes QGIS is a really nice application. I don't know, we don't know why. Sometimes it crash without saying everything. So you don't have any error message. Severe and magic. So to avoid losing everything you make,
And I cannot like look for it. If it closed, it's over.
yes.
It's gone.
That's yeah. That's why there is a good way to avoid this problem is to save your project.
Makes sense.
So here I didn't talk about this, but here you have the three first icons. The first one, the white paper sheet here, is to start a new project. Okay. Then you have the possibility to open an existing project, and of course the third one to save your project. So you can save it right now. So just click here, and you just have to give a name to your file where you want to save it. For example, for me, it would be, and let's say my project. It's what you want. So you save it, press enter, and that's it. And then you can see here you have the name of your project. What is interesting here, see, of course, when QGIS is crashing, so it's you are not losing everything, but also it means that you can work in different projects at the same time. Okay, you have this one for your road project. I don't know, this one for your building project. You are talking different things, so you don't have to merge everything in the same application. So different projects, and this way you are working very well, right?
Professor, I have a small question. Like, so these are the data that is already collected and trained in the GIS. If I want to have some data which are not trained, for example, the number of trees or something like that, which is
Yes.
very abstract.
Yes.
So is there any way that we can get the data, or we need to do this first?
It really depends. It's so you have to first you have to search on the internet. We will talk about this next week, but there is a platform called Spatial Data Infrastructure where in fact it's like website, and you have search engine and where you can search data using keywords, using specific areas, things like this. So there is some tools to help you find information that you are searching. So if you find them, it's okay, perfect. For example, I know that on the area of Nantes Metropole and things like this, there is some platform where you can find plenty of information, like maybe trees or public trees. I don't know. Yes. But if you don't find anything, of course, you will need to find a way to create your own data set. And we will talk about this just after to create your data into QGIS. Right? Okay.
Yeah, I don't.
Any other questions? No. So yeah, you save your project. It's okay like this. Okay, so this it was the three main ways to manipulate the symbology. So you keep in mind just a unique symbol. Everything is has the same symbology. Categorize. That's a way to make a classification on text information. Each object that have the same value for a specific column will have the same color. And the third one is I don't remember the name. It's in English. It's graduated. So it's only for numerical columns where you have numerical values, and you can make classification using different statistical method, mathematical method, right? Okay. Then I wanted to show you, for example, if we go back to region. So if you go to the property, so double click or right click property, the same, you can also add what we call labels. So here, labels. So by default, you don't have any labels. But here, if you select single labels, for example, you will be able to select, in fact, the column you want to display on the map. So let's say we want nom, name in the region. So you have options to change the font, the size, the color, everything you want. You can also have shadow and many other options. And let's press OK. And this way you have, I will change, okay. So it can be useful sometimes when you have different objects you are working on and you want to display some information. So of course it can be text information, but also it can be numerical information. If I show you, for example, if I zoom to the cities and I want to display the population, for example, so I just go here and I will choose population. So here you can see the population for each cities. So it can be very useful sometimes.
How did you show this population?
So I just go to commune cities earlier, go to property. In the labels, I choose population. Yeah. Okay.
There needs to be an algorithm that sorry? Is there an algorithm here in France or everywhere? Like we just constantly creating data and everything. Obviously, we have.
In France, we have QGIS, the French again, so the French Institute in charge of geographic information. So they are in charge of producing, updating all the main data sets that we can use. But then for the rest, everybody is allowed to produce their own data. For example, some cities like Nantes or Nantes Métropole, they produce their own data sets specifically for their own territory. Like, for example, the place where you have all the public trees or the firelights or tsunamis. So it's not made by EGN because EGN is focused on the French case. So there is a lot of production. Yeah. And we are lucky in France because more and more data are open now. So you can very easily find a lot of information. All right. So now, I'm just checking the different things I want to show you. Okay, so now we will talk about where we can create information. Because here we are using existing information, but let's say we want to create our own data set. Right? So to illustrate, it will be maybe a good way, a good idea to go to EMT. So if we go back to ED Ortho, and if we zoom to, if we go to EMT. So we can go to EMT. Yeah, or maybe scan 25 has the best resolution, the better resolution. Okay, so here we have EMT, right? And let's say we want to create our own vector layer with the buildings from EMT, right? So to do so, we will first have to create our table, our layer. which will be empty, and then we will add geometries inside this layer. So we just go to layer here in the menu layer. We have create layer. So here you have you can choose, in fact, the file format you want to have. Let's say we want to create a new shapefile layer. So I went to layer, create layer, and new shapefile layer. Yes? Okay? So here you will be invited to point where you want to save your file. So let's say for me it would be and I will say it will be EMT building, for example. Okay, so it will be saved here and it will be a shapefile. Then I'm going to pass or
Yes, Professor. Yeah, I think you.
so you have to go. So layer. I have to close you have to go to layer, create layer, new shapefile layer. So, right. So then you will point. So just click here, point where you want to store your file. So and press enter. Then you will have to specify the geometry type. Okay, so here we are talking about drawing the building, so it will be polygon. Okay, then we can specify the transition frame. So here in the list, we will choose this one, LGF Lambert 93. So if you don't see it, you can click here on this icon and you will find, you just have to search 2154 and you will see this one. I repeat, if you don't see in the list Lambert 93, you just have to click here and in the filter here, enter 2154 and you will see Lambert 93. Right? No?
No. Can you please do it again? From the start, the layer.
Once you find the file you want, where you want to save it. It's okay here?
No, the layer you created. Okay, yeah. Okay. Wait, so okay. So the from new shapefile layer. Okay, got it. Yeah.
It's okay?
Yes, yeah.
So then, so we can see that by default we already have one column named ID, and let's say we will add a new column, and the name will be name or no in French. So it will be text information, and you just have to click add to field it. So this way we will have two columns, ID and no. Right? So once you make this, you just have to click OK. So OK, and now I can see my file which is here. So EMT buildings. So if I open the table, of course, there is nothing, but we can see the two columns, ID and no.
Is it the IMT building? I'm
Ah,
oh, okay, yes, yeah. Is it IMT building 5 minute?
here,
That's what you said, if I remember.
and just click on add to his list. Okay.
No, does this one? And to no.
Yes. Okay. So once you open that, you have your table, your layer, which is here. And if you display the table, it should be empty, and you have your two columns. Yes or no?
I want to say my hand to the very
Yes.
just like you know that
Yeah, but you have to place it somewhere. Yeah. So yeah, okay. Content, yes, content. Yeah. Okay. So you have to choose folder. Geometry type. Okay. Then here you have to choose yes. And then data what you want. And add to the size. Reduce the size. So yeah, sorry. And then this was what I was. Yeah. Sometimes you don't see when you open the panel. For example, like this. Some of you, in fact, the Windows is so high that you don't see OK, cancel, and so on. So when you have this problem, you can just do like this. You reduce the size, and then you should see. Yeah.
Fine, I am.
Yeah, maybe you had the trouble while creating this.
No, I already have it here.
Okay, yeah,
I just can't find it.
yeah. It's normal because it's empty. We just created an empty table. Now, you mean sorry? You can find IMT. Okay, I think I thought you were talking about your own layer. Okay, IMT. So in fact, you have to follow the Loire, not the Loire, but the Erdre River. You know, there is the Loire River, the city center of Nantes. Then you follow the Erdre River, which is here. And then, in fact, you have like the highway, which is going to Paris. And IMT just after the highway, along the Erdre River, which is here. Okay?
Okay. So we have a new empty table. And now we will see how to fill information inside this table. So to do so, you just have to go to the table here, IMT buildings, and make a right click. Then you can click on toggle editing. Ou start edition, ou démarrer l'édition, je sais plus. Okay. So now we can see that you have new tools here that appears. And especially this one, where you can add polygon features. Okay, so if you click here, and you can zoom in a bit, and for example, you just have to click like this. You can start drawing your building. So you can try to do some something which is accurate or not. IMT is not so simple because the building is has a shape which is a bit weird. Thank you to the architect. And once it's okay, you can just make a right click and you have this new panel that invites you to fill the information, attributes. So we have the geometry. Now we say, for example, I don't know, let's say this is the building number 1. And the name is there a name for this building?
So vitamin B.
Vitamin B?
This is B, everything.